I thought I'd do a little video about something I hadn't spoke about for a while, or rather I have spoke about and then I've deleted the videos, and that's the whole sort of twin flame thing. You know, I was really curious about this thing so far. I mean, I worked out I haven't seen mine physically for over 18 months, and the time before that is 7 months before that. And it's really, when this dark night of the soul settles down, you're still kind of always left with that person, which, you know, if you really are the same soul, makes sense, because you are your soul, so you are them. But I was just reflecting on that today. I think I've said before, I get really long periods now where the whole thing is not on my mind at all. Usually when I'm engrossed in something else. Lately, last few days, you know, I've had a lot of worries, which I spoke about yesterday, that kind of consumed me. So the whole thing seemed of little importance. Or if you've got some other kind of romantic interest, you know, I've had a couple of interests here and there, and once that's all done and gone, what I find is after a few weeks or a couple of months, you just don't give them people any thought whatsoever. You know, that's just nothing really. Whereas so far, however long goes, that will always be a thought in the back of my mind, really. You literally just can't shake it. And I use hypnosis a lot for a lot of different things. It's really effective. And I remember using a hypnosis tape back in February for how to forget someone. And I tried that several times and it barely scratched the surface. What I will find is I think the energy comes and goes in waves. It seems to be when I've had I don't get big, huge spiritual breakthroughs anymore. Like, it's not up and down. I've spoke about this a lot. It's like the initial awakening was like bang, and too much energy being passed through a light bulb. Another way people would describe it is like pressing lots of keys on a keyboard and then the computer just shuts down because it can't process, and then it reboots. That was like the initial phase, which lasted for ages and took me into some really strange, for me, areas. And now it is more like peace. Or I saw this question from someone, they said it's either sadness or peace, and not like big ecstasy. That's where I am. But say if I have one of these really peaceful, not quite oneness, but where the ego quietens and I'm just in the now and things are good, so that whole twin flame topic won't be on my mind at all. And then that seems to be then followed by a bad period. And I do wonder if it's just the energy travelling kind of back and forth between the people. I'm not sure really. But it's weird to make sense of this point in the journey because it's so much calmer. And you think, well, what was the point in me going through all that stuff, like learning about Course in Miracles and the Quakers and Vedanta and all of this different stuff? Like I'm a very, very different state of consciousness where I feel like maybe I'm expressing myself a little bit better in this video, but I have found it almost impossible to talk about spiritual topics. And as I said, I actually consciously put that stuff away for a while. For 6 months. Part of me now, I think why I'm kind of reflecting on, I think why you can't leave, you know, that whatever happened was for a reason, and you'll have been given in the beginning phase a lot of signs as to that. And while I think you have to drop a lot of that story because that's ego, it's definitely not for no purpose. Now, I, perhaps unwisely, contacted my twin for the first time in 10 months ask her not to reply, but I was in a really anxious state and really feeling like the world was almost coming to an end. And I asked for a prayer, because that's something she used to do for me. And, following, I assume strongly that she would have prayed. She is a person that spends a lot of time in prayer. Suddenly I've got, apparently I'm actually employed now. It's still looking a bit strange. I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. We'll see how it works out. But things feel better. And I have a little bit more of a sense of kind of purpose, and that everything is kind of actually panning out now. I'm a big believer in believing in the dark, what you were told in the light. And I think to have that full experience of that dark side, you're going to lose faith at a lot of points. And it's for the first time in ages. Now, what I would say is, because I'm not too sure what's happening with this job at the moment, and that's going to be something new. There's a little hint of being a little bit unsettled about that. But there's a sense of things are alright. Things are going to work out. Like I said yesterday in the video I haven't uploaded yet, I like it in a way when things get shaken up, You're like, what's around, hoping this new job thing doesn't turn out to be a dead end or a disaster. Who knows? We will see. But something's going to materialise from that, I think. I think with, I may have shared this on camera before, but I had, following my kind of twin's disappearance and strange marriage, because she had been surrounded by some quite abusive, really, people, and had a kind of personality profile that would attract that kind of person. I had a lot of concern, and never really, the events were very, very mysterious, which left an open loop in my mind. And what I absolutely don't do is ever look into my twin on social media, because I'm not going to like what I see, and it's just not a good idea to be doing that, and it is invasive. And periodically I'll have thoughts of, kind of asking if she's alright, or for an explanation, and for reasons I won't go into, I believe that would be a bad idea. I think I kind of have to have faith that person's being looked after by God, and that and I'm not talking about us being together or anything like that, but there was a purpose behind these experiences. And today, and only in the last few minutes really, as I've been very stuck in my mind. Again, with a couple of worries taken care of, boom, it's back to mulling over this situation. I'm just feeling that first inkling of faith returning, really, and kind of thinking about spending a little bit more time in prayer, I guess, which is something I haven't done for a very long time, and really trying to connect to God and the divine, and have faith that my kind of steps are kind of being led, because many times in my life I've found that to be the case, and it's often when things look darkest that everything just suddenly works out in new unexpected directions. So again, waffling a little bit, but I think from next year I may do some final writing on this subject to just get it all out. And I've kind of detoxed this year, but I really think from next year I'm going to really try to just not ever mention the topic. I think that's very important. Going to be going into a bit of a different phase in life now, really. Hope that makes sense.